Today we are working Psalm 9. In Psalm magic, Psalm 9 is frequently worked to overcome evil, to reduce the power of an enemy, and for help in court cases. Today we are going to use Psalm 9 to bring accountability where there has not been. So if you're dealing with anybody that's getting away with stuff and they're just not being held accountable, this is the psalm for you. The way we work Psalm magic is very simple, easy, and effective. We take the psalm that we're working and we speak it out loud all the way through once without stopping. We call this an incantation. Then we go back through that psalm and we consider each verse in turn and we dig for hidden meanings, often called occult meanings or magic seeds. And as we dig for those, we just do our best. We try to apply what we find there to the situation at hand. And by doing these things, we are taking those magic seeds that are in the psalm and planting them into the fertile ground of our minds, where they, in a very real way, take root, grow, blossom forth, and then bear fruit after their kind. And that's what we are going to do together with Psalm number 9. I will praise thee, O Lord, with my whole heart. I will show forth all thy marvelous works. I will be glad and rejoice in thee. I will sing praise to thy name, O thou most high. When mine enemies are turned back, they shall fall and perish at thy presence. For thou hast maintained my right and my cause. Thou sattest in the throne, judging right. Thou hast rebuked the heathen. Thou hast destroyed the wicked. Thou hast put out their name forever and ever. O thou enemy, destructions are come to a perpetual end, and thou hast destroyed cities. Their memorial is perished with them. But the Lord shall endureth forever. He hath prepared his throne for judgment, and he shall judge the world in righteousness. He shall minister judgment to the people in uprightness. The Lord also will be a refuge for the oppressed, a refuge in times of trouble. And they that know thy name will put their trust in thee, for thou, Lord, hast not forsaken them that seek thee. Sing praises to the Lord which dwelleth in Zion. Declare among the people his doings. When he maketh inquisition for blood, he remembereth them. He forgetteth not the cry of the humble. Have mercy upon me, O Lord. Consider my trouble which I suffer of them that hate me. Thou that liftest me up from the gates of death, that I may show forth all thy praise in the gates of the daughter of Zion. I will rejoice in thy salvation. The heathen are sunk down in the pit that they made. In the net which they hid is their own foot taken. The Lord is known by the judgment which he executeth. The wicked is snared in the work of his own hands. Higgaion Selah. The wicked shall be turned into hell, and all the nations that forget God. For the needy shall not always be forgotten. The expectation of the poor shall not perish forever. Arise, O Lord, let not man prevail. Let the heathen be judged in thy sight. Put them in fear, O Lord, that the nations may know themselves to be but men. Selah. It starts out with praising. I will praise thee, O Lord, with my whole heart. The Lord in magic represents the singular source of all that is. There is but one. There's one source, one substance, one force in the entire universe. And this force is the creator of all that is. And since there is but one, nothing can go up against it. Those whom the Lord is for, nothing can be against. One with this force is a majority. This is not a male deity. It's not a deity at all from the perspective of magic. It is a force, and it is the force. The one force. I will praise thee, O Lord, with my whole heart. Your heart is your deep mind. Your heart is that which is the core of who you are. And it can also be a symbol for your soul. With all of the true parts of yourself, not just your mind, not just superficially, you are praising this force. To praise something is to be enthusiastic about your acknowledgement that it's good. Acknowledging enthusiastically that something is good is praising it. So the Lord is the source of all that is, and only good comes from the Lord. Only good comes from this force. Everything else is but an illusion. So if you're praising that which is good in your life, you are praising the Lord. And so you are going to start out by praising that which is working in your life, not by praising what's not working. So we've brought to the psalm this idea that somebody, somewhere, or some people or something in your life is not being held accountable for its wrongdoing. So it's saying before we can even address that, you need to come here with praising of that which is working in your life, what is good in your life. You must come from that point of view, or you have no power to back up your magic. I will show forth all thy marvelous works. That's your job, is to show forth the marvelous works of this force. So you're a demonstration of what it's like to be accountable for the good in your life. That's your job. So in order for you to come here and say this person needs to be held accountable, you first must start out with showing forth that which is working, that which is good. I will be glad and rejoice in thee. I will sing praise to thy name, O thou most high. To sing in psalm magic is to make a disturbance with your voice. The voice not necessarily being the physical voice, but the voice of your soul, the energy of your soul, the power that makes you up. So by being glad and rejoicing in this force, we are creating a disturbance in the force in a good way that has been allowing for this lack of accountability. It's been allowing for all of this horrible stuff to occur with nothing coming in to stop it. Now we are creating this disturbance by singing praise unto the Lord, to the Most High, El Elyon, the Most High. It's a name of God. The Most High. That means the Most High doesn't mean it's so high and we're so low. The Most High meaning the most holy, that which is the most true, that which is the most real, that which is the most one. And since that's the only truth, everything but the Most High is an illusion. So by singing praises to that force, everything else is being highly disturbed and eventually will be destroyed. When mine enemies are turned back, they shall fall and perish at my presence. So your enemies have to always, no matter what's going on in your life, if you're going to be serious about magically handling it, you must take responsibility for the fact that there is part of your own deep mind that is holding a thought form that allows this to be. Because if you can't do that, then you have no power in a situation. The only power in a situation you have is within the thought forms. And the thought forms which are in your own mind that are allowing this to happen must be addressed first, and then we can address everything else. When mine enemies are turned back, they shall fall and perish at thy presence. It's really easy for us to say, yeah, it's them. They're the enemy, and they're going to fall and perish. They will if they are truly the enemy. That's fine. That's really none of our business. What is our business is our own enemy within, our own enemy thought forms within. We have to allow ourselves to bring this force into our own mind to destroy the thought forms, which are enemy thought forms themselves. And we want to see those things that always hold our own lives back, that hold us back within. Those must perish. They must fall. And they always do that at the presence of infinite intelligence, at the presence of this force. So when we are praising this force, we are putting ourselves in alignment with this force. And that force then dissolves everything that is not like itself. And it starts out with the enemy within your mind. And that in turn will take care of course, any of these problems that seem to be happening outside of your mind. For thou hast maintained my right and my cause. Thou sattest in the throne, judging right. Infinite intelligence is the judge, is the only judge. We aren't. We think we know. We think we can judge things. Okay, that's bad, that's good. But ultimately, our judgment is skewed because we aren't in our right minds. So we leave the judging to infinite intelligence that always judges rightly. And it starts out by judging you rightly. Anything that's not like perfection in your life is judged and must be removed, must be destroyed in order for you to be at one with this force. Everything that is against this force, anything that is antithetical to this force, must be judged first. Then you're in a position to allow the judgment to happen to those things that appear to be external to you. Thou hast rebuked the heathen, and thou hast destroyed the wicked. Thou hast put out their name forever and ever. The heathen do not refer to modern pagans who refer to themselves as heathen. That is not what this is. This is talking about errant thought forms within the mind. Thou hast rebuked those thought forms. Thou hast destroyed the wicked. The wicked is that which goes against the truth, are the lying thought forms within our mind that are trying to make us believe things that aren't true about ourselves, about the world, etc. And those are the thought forms which allow for the occurrence of people and situations in our lives which appear to be able to get away with murder and not have any accountability. So we're starting with the cause right in our own minds. Those parts of our minds that believe that we deserve that believe that can happen. Those are wicked. Those are heathen. Thou hast put out their name forever and ever. The name of anything in the Psalms is the nature of thought forms which allow for the lack of accountability when someone is destructive, when somebody is cruel, when somebody is mean, when somebody is doing something illegal, those kinds of things. Anything which allows for that is now being destroyed. It must be destroyed. But remember, nothing happens without our permission because it's our mind. We're allowed to have those thoughts. So now we're saying, no, infinite intelligence, I want you to come into my deep mind and get rid of all of these errant thought forms that would even allow such a thing to happen in my life. I'm taking that much responsibility for this experience. O thou enemy, destructions are come to a perpetual end, and thou hast destroyed cities. Their memorial is perished with them. So these thought forms which allow for this occurrence have been destructive for a long time prior to whatever this occurrence in your physical world is. They've been destroying you for a long time, these thought forms. These ideas that you deserve this, these ideas that you're vulnerable to people, these ideas that anybody could do that to you have been around for a lot longer than this occurrence has been around. So we've got to take care of the atmosphere within the mind that allows for such things. We're not saying that you deserve or created the situation for yourself, but we are saying let's start by cleaning our mind out from any thoughts which could possibly give permission to this kind of behavior. Thou hast destroyed cities, and the memorial is perished with them. So the cities are those, they're not big thought forms like nations, they're smaller thought forms. And these heathen thoughts, these ideas of self-destruction, these ideas of self-loathing, these ideas of self-hatred have really destroyed some of your positive attitudes over your life. And we're accepting that we allowed this to happen. On our own watch, we allowed this because we didn't know any better. And now we aren't going to put up with that anymore from our own ego mind. We are taking a stand by calling on this one force to take care of it for us so that we're no longer subject to our own self-loathing. And since we're no longer subject to our own self-loathing, we do not on any level give permission to people that seem to be outside of us treating us this way without accountability. But the Lord shall endure forever. He hath prepared his throne for judgment. God judges everything. God's the only thing that can judge. Now, ultimately, God's judgment is that everybody's perfect, that everybody's beloved, and that everybody is in love with each other, basically. Everything is fun. But within the realm of this storyline, it is necessary for things to be put aright before we can get to that point. And one of the first things that needs to be put aright is our own mind. And the next thing that needs to get put aright is our own interaction with the world. And that includes these people that seem to be getting away with things again and again. And he shall judge the world in righteousness. He shall minister judgment to the people in uprightness. You can't lie to infinite intelligence. You can't lie. You can't say, I didn't do that. I didn't do that. Infinite intelligence knows exactly what you did, exactly what you're thinking. There's no hiding from that. There's no hiding from this force. Again, once you are clear about who you are and where you are and that you are in your right mind, you are giving up all allegiance to these enemy thought forms within, then you are in a place to say, therefore, let's take care of these circumstances. And infinite intelligence, of course, is going to take care of those circumstances for you, including these people that seem to never have any accountability for themselves. The Lord will also be a refuge for the oppressed, a refuge in times of trouble. So you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to worry about any of it. A lot of times what happens when we do a spell like this, we say, where is it? How come they haven't gotten this? And they should get that, and they should get this, and they should get that. That's not up to you. It's enough for you to know accountability is coming, and the way it comes is really not your concern. It's really none of your business at this point, because now what you have done is you've turned to infinite intelligence, and you are trusting that infinite intelligence is not only going to take care of this situation, but it's going to protect you and keep you safe and make sure that this doesn't happen again, because you've placed your faith where it needs to be, rather than having faith in this problem, rather than having faith that nothing's working, rather than having faith in the fact that this person can abuse you or abuse other people and not have any accountability. Now your faith is in the solution. Now your faith is in the infinite. So not only do you know that this is going to get taken care of, that in the process of it and afterwards, you have nothing to worry about because you are safe. You are cared for. You are protected. Sing praises to the Lord which dwelleth in Zion. Declare among the people his doings. So you must sing praises to create this disturbance, but you must do this to the Lord which dwelleth in Zion. Zion is the place in your mind where you and infinite intelligence are one. In order to find Zion, you must climb up that hill. That means you must elevate your thoughts to the highest elevation you're capable of, and then infinite intelligence takes care of the rest. But you must do your best to climb up, because if you're not climbing up to the top of that hill, infinite intelligence doesn't really have much that it can do for you, because you're not showing any willingness on your part. And willingness is very important because you have free will. You have free will to use your mind any way you want to. But if you rise up to the top of the highest elevated thoughts that you're capable of thinking and sing praises from there, then those songs, if you will, that are creating such a disturbance for these other thought forms and for these people that are not having any accountability, are so powerful that nothing can withstand those vibrations. Declare amongst the people his doings, and that's up to you to declare among your own thoughts. This is being taken care of. Stop worrying about it. You have to tell that to your thoughts. We are up in Zion singing praises to infinite intelligence. It's creating such a disturbance because of the power of those thought vibrations. It's creating such a disturbance for all of these occurrences that you need to stop worrying about it. We've got this, so that you can calm your mind down, so that you can maintain that focus, that this is working. When he maketh an inquisition for blood, he remembereth them. He forgetteth not the cry of the humble. The inquisition for blood is the destruction or the accountability that you're asking for. The destruction of the destruction, where whatever has been going on, all the shenanigans that have been going on are done, taken care of. Because he remembers the humble. He doesn't forget the humble. And the humble is you, because you've taken time and energy to go through this process that we've just discovered, where you're saying, yeah, I'm going to humble myself. I'm going to take care of my own thoughts in this. I'm going to take care of everything that I've got as far as an investment in this problem, and I'm turning that over to you as well. So I've done my part, and infinite intelligence never fails to do its part. Have mercy upon me, O Lord. Consider my trouble which I suffer from them that hate me. Thou liftest me up from the gates of death. So that is sphere number 4 on the tree of life. That is that Jupiter sphere that is lifting you up out of the gates of death, because you've done everything you can, and now infinite intelligence is doing for you everything that you can't do for yourself. So every part of this situation that you are powerless in, that's fine, because infinite intelligence is taking over and is actually lifting you up out of this problem, that I may show forth all thy praise in the gates of the daughter of Zion. I will rejoice in thy salvation. So it's taking you up out of the gates of death and into the gates of the daughter of Zion. So the daughter of Zion is Jerusalem. That's who technically the daughter of Zion is referring to in the Psalms. Jerusalem is the dwelling place of infinite intelligence. So the daughter of Zion is another word for Shekinah. And Shekinah is the dwelling place not only of God, but of your soul. And so when you are snatched out of the gates of death and into the gates of the daughter of Zion, it's giving you your power back. No longer are you allowing for your own destructive thought forms to conspire with these people to create more bad. You are being lifted out of that, and you're being put back into your power, where the daughter of Zion, or that dwelling place of God, the Shekinah, is that magic fairy dust that can be sprinkled over any situation and transform it. You're being snatched out of the gates of death and placed into the daughter of Zion, where that magic fairy dust can be sprinkled over any situation, and you just watch it transform it. And those people that have been so mean and so powerful in your life, they lose all power in that situation, and they get freaked out. And you can just watch that happen. It's not up to you to say it should happen this way, it should happen that way, it should happen this way. All you have to do is allow yourself to be lifted out of the situation, placed back into your power, and all you have to do is watch that fairy dust get sprinkled on top of it. And it's fun to watch, to see how this thing, whatever it is, plays itself out, because it's going to play itself out in the most perfect way possible. And it shows you in here with this next verse, the heathen are sunk down in the pit that they made. In the net which they hid is their own foot taken. So any errant thought forms which are still going on in the situation, they're going to be removed. They're going to be reversed, and they're going to be thrown into the pit where they belong, into that native nothingness. They're going to return to the native nothingness from whence they came. And all the power that these people seem to have had over you disappears, because you don't have any context for them to bother you anymore, because those heathen thought forms within your own mind have already been taken care of. And now any errant thought forms that are left over within them are reversed to them. And therefore, you can just sit as that fairy dust is sprinkled on this situation. You can just sit and watch how all of this, where these people seem to have so much power before, how their power just evaporates, because it's impossible for them to have power over you anymore, because you're no longer giving them that opportunity, because you and infinite intelligence are at one, and only truth can prevail. Only that which is true can prevail. And everything that's not like truth is now being completely destroyed. And truth is the key word for sphere number 4, which is mercy also. The Lord is known by the judgment which he executeth. The wicked is snared in the work of his own hands. Higayon Selah. Okay, this is an important one. Got 10 minutes, I can get through all this. The Lord is known by the judgment which he executeth. You'll know that God was there based on the fact that all the problems got solved. You'll know that infinite intelligence was invoked properly by the fact that it's taken care of. And since you already know that's true, you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to go, oh, I hope that it's okay. You don't have to do that. In fact, if you do that, then you're not singing praises unto the Most High. You're going back to the low-level thought, which is the place where a lot of this stuff can fester. You're saying, no, I'm creating a disturbance in the air. I'm creating a disturbance in the force by moving my mind back to praising the Most High. And anything that doesn't look like the Most High, it just gets vaporized in its wake. The wicked is snared in the work of his own hands. When you are singing praises to the Most High like that, you just know that infinite intelligence's will is done. Anything that doesn't look like perfect love, perfect trust, and all of the other names of God, anything that doesn't look like that is vaporized. And the wicked is thus snared in the work of his own hands. Then it says, Higayon Selah. Those are two musical directions. Selah, we know, means to just pause and reflect. But Higayon means pause for longer. It's like a big fermata over the rest. And it's in pure silence and peace. So when you're working this on your own especially, you want to sit there after verse number 16 and just sit there in silence for a few moments at least, and then move on. The wicked shall be turned into hell, and the nations that forget God. All the nations that forget God. So all the nations are overarching thought forms. All the overarching thought forms which were participating in this problem are going to hell. Now, going to hell doesn't mean a place of eternal torment. It means the underworld, which means the native nothingness from whence it came. It came from nothing, it returns to nothing. Came from nothing, and it will return to nothing. And the ultimate victory in this is that the memory of it will be gone, and you won't even remember that this was a big deal anymore. For the needy shall not always be forgotten. The expectation of the poor shall not perish forever. This is just a blip in time. And remember that once you elevate your mind up to that top of the hill, and you're thinking those thoughts, and you are singing praises unto the Most High, nothing can withstand that force. Nothing can withstand that force. So you're never going to perish when you're doing that. In fact, the only thing that's going to perish, as it says here, are these problems. Whatever the situation is going to perish. And you can expect accountability. You don't get to decide how it looks. It's not up to you. It's not your business what that accountability looks like. But you can leave this work knowing that all is well and that it's taken care of in the best way possible. Arise, O Lord, let not man prevail. Let the heathen be judged in thy sight. We are saying arise in us. It's that risen Kundalini. I'm willing to rise up in my mind to meet you, infinite intelligence, so that I can see that your will is done. And I'm no longer focusing my will on any part of the situation that gives it permission, that lets it fester. Let the heathen be judged in thy sight. That means all of these problems are going to be judged for what they are. Not my judgment, but your judgment, because I trust you. I know that you're going to take care of this perfectly. Put them in fear, O Lord, that the nations may know themselves to be but men. Selah. Whatever this is, it's just mortal. It's subject to death. It's going to die. And now is the time when everybody's going to know it. So put them in fear, O Lord, that the nations may know themselves to be but men. So all these nations, these thought forms, which are at odds with infinite intelligence, they're on their way out and they're afraid. And that's exactly where they need to be. But you're not afraid. You're up on that top of that mountain, singing praises to the Most High with that laser beam, that saber, that nothing can touch you. And everything that's not like perfect love is vaporized in its presence. So you just keep coming back to this psalm every day till you get a sense of peace and certainty that your spell has taken, that you don't have to worry about it anymore. And then you can move on to something else. Thank you so much for joining me. Until next time, blessed be.